how disappointed are you that you will not be a 49er?
Not as disappointed as the 49ers will be that they didn't draft me.
Yeah, you know, when we air that clip, it means that the 49ers and the Packers will face off this week. The teams meet Sunday night at Levi Stadium in a game that has huge playoff implications in the NFC, but it varies on whether or not the postseason is on the minds of the players and the coaches.
I don't even think about playoff seeding right now. Our goal is to get in the playoffs, and we're all right there. There's still a lot of football left.
You're just in denial if you don't think about the implications with a dub or an L this week. The way we look at it, we're going to have to win there one time the rest of the year. It'd be nice to get it done this week.
Aaron Rodgers being honest, hey, you kind of have to think ahead and look at that. But so for the first time in 2 games, the 49ers face more of a traditional pocket passer in this game in Aaron Rodgers. He can scramble, but not as elusive as a Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray.
He's magical. And the Niners saw this live and in person last year in Lambeau Field. They're winning late in the game. They had Rodgers sacked on 3rd down. They were going to steal a win in Lambeau, but Richard Sherman committed a penalty. Aaron Rodgers does what Aaron Rodgers does and created magic. They won the game. So this is the Packers last time they were in California a couple weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. They came on a 3-day weekend. They got upset by the Chargers. This is them killing the Raiders too. But when they were here against the Chargers, though, they got upset. And that's why Rodgers, they took a different focus on this week, saying we're not going to come out to the Bay Area until Saturday today, which isn't much time to rest and get ready for tomorrow's game. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach the game tomorrow. But, Rodgers, obviously, he has a chip on his shoulder with the Niners not drafting him. Right. More importantly, they beat him back-to-back years in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. And right now, here and now, they're both playoff contenders again. The Niners are the NFC's #1 seed right now, and that's going to be really hard to keep for the next few weeks.
Yeah, now the 49ers defense, they really haven't looked like themselves the last 2 weeks, but they've been facing those quarterbacks that
more elusive quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, the interesting thing about this game is they will not have Dee Ford. He's one of their 4 main defensive linemen. He's out with a hamstring injury, right? So you're going to see Nick Bosa getting a lot of attention again. You're going to see DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead. They're having career years. They're the ones that are going to have to go after Aaron Rodgers, all right? That defensive front is for real. It's fun to watch. They will get by without Dee Ford and Ronald Blair, who got hurt the week before. The thing that worries me about the Niners defense is the run defense has allowed more yards than you want to see out of a championship caliber defense. The Packers have a very good running back in Aaron Jones. The guy scored 3 rushing touchdowns last game against Carolina. Then the Packers had a bye week, so he's refreshed. That's why Aaron Rodgers is kind of like, look, I'm in my, 15th year here. He doesn't have to necessarily do it all. He's proven himself. But here he gets to come home to the Bay Area. He gets to play in front of, a lot of people that know Aaron Rodgers. They know the story. They know how the Niners passed over him for Alex Smith, when they probably shouldn't have, as much as we all appreciated Alex Smith around here.
Let's not go back down
right?
that road again.
But it's like every time. We started
time.
with this segment, right? We're back to the 05 draft. I was there with Dennis in New York for that. And I remember we were interviewing Mike Nolan the night before the draft, and you just sensed in his voice that he was going to go. The guy he wanted was Alex, just the personality. And, the fact that both lasted a really long time in the league. Everybody likes to call Aaron Rodgers the best quarterback in the game. He's the most technically sound. When he came into the NFL, he was not known as that. There was questions about how he throws the ball, holds the ball up here, and then the matter was where he puts the ball. He puts the ball in spots that are ridiculously good. So the Niners back end of their defense with Richard Sherman, maybe Ahkello Witherspoon coming back in the lineup, Emmanuel Mosley, and K'Waun Williams, their nickelback, who's really good, having a good year. They are going to get tested like they haven't gotten tested all season. So that's something to watch.
And let's talk about the other quarterback for the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo. He made an incredible comeback win against the Cardinals last week. He does a lot of good things.
Well, I thought you were going to say he's made an incredible comeback overall, because I think that gets lost in this whole season is this quarterback did not play last year. He had to come off of an ACL surgery. Nobody has thought about that through 10 games because it hasn't inhibited him the way people thought. Everybody in the exhibition season freaking out saying Jimmy's not stepping into his throws. It's not, and mind you, every game there's some pass that results in a dumb interception, right? Where we think it's dumb because we don't know what's going on, but it may go off a receiver's hands, whatever. There's so many other factors. It's not just quarterback. But that play to Jeff Wilson to win the game against the Arizona Cardinals was fantastic because they had the right play call. Jimmy knew where he wanted to throw it, but he couldn't actually see it end up in his hands because the Cardinal safety, Budda Baker, was coming right up at him. And so, to pull off a comeback win like that, okay? He did that in the home opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They almost did it against the Seattle Seahawks in overtime, but their rookie kicker hooked it into the tunnel into the locker room before the team did.
That was just a little
But
off.
that's Jimmy. Jimmy is a guy that'll get the team in position to win.
Right.
He is not the guy that's being asked to go out and throw those 400-yard, 4-touchdown games like he did here against the Cardinals, but he can do it if need be. They do not need him to do that this game against the Packers. What they need this game against the Packers is to get their run game back on track, get Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, maybe Jeff Wilson Jr. now that he showed a little heroism, right? I don't think Matt Breida plays for a second straight week. I think they're going with a calculated approach here, knowing that whatever guys have a few injuries, we're going to rest them for the playoff run for this coming gauntlet, except George Kittle is the one I think we're all wondering about.
Yeah? Is
Because
he
missed the last 2 games. I think he's back. George practiced on Thursday, Friday this week. Not full speed practices necessarily, but George is out there running around. And he is such a catalyst for the offense, for the whole team. Best tight end in the league. Also very helpful in the run game. And they need to get that run game going. So I want to see George Kittle out on that field tomorrow.
All right, so let's talk about the next 3 games. You have Green Bay tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then you're traveling on the road to face Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. And then you have Drew Brees in
New
Orleans.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was trying to come up with a nickname for this, and I failed really miserably. I was asking people on Twitter, like, do we call it the Gauntlet, the Hellacious Hat Trick, Dios Mio Trio, which I thought was kind of clever, but my daughter takes Spanish, and she said it makes no sense, and don't use the Lord's name in vain. So that was out. And then I asked a couple players in the locker room, and they didn't really care.
Okay.
But what it came down to basically was, because they can't look ahead and say, oh, we're looking at these 3 games. It's in the pro football world, you're looking at 1 game at a time, the cliche, and it actually works this time.
Right.
So they said the way we're approaching it is these are like playoff games. And once we get to the playoffs, then you're talking about a real 3-game stretch because that's the one that's going to lead you to the Super Bowl in Miami, okay? And so I think basically the term we need to use is dress rehearsal because this is a dress rehearsal of pressure-packed games that's going to lead into the playoffs to possibly their 6th Lombardi title.
Yeah. And as Shanahan says, we're not really looking into the seeding in the playoffs
Oh,
at
they
all.
are.
Yeah,
of course they are. They have to, right?
Exactly. Well, still to come on Inside the 5, how the Raiders rookie class has put Oakland into the thick of playoff contention. Vern Glenn sits down with one of the many first-year stars for Oakland. That's coming up next. On the strength of their rookie class, the Raiders won their 3rd straight game last Sunday against the Bengals. 4th-round pick Max Crosby had 4 sacks. 2nd-rounder Trayvon Mullen had the game-clinching interception. And rookie tight end Foster Moreau caught a touchdown for the 2nd straight game. He now has 4 TDs on the season, and he sits down with Vern Glenn before they both left for New York.
All right, Inside the 5, a few minutes with Foster Moreau, tight end for the Oakland Raiders. And when I say that, Foster Moreau, NFL, tight end, Oakland Raiders, how does that hit you? Because I know it's a dream come true.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is. We've been working our whole lives for this. Not just me, but I mean all of my teammates, companions, brothers. It hits well. It hits well. It rolls off the tongue, just as I imagined.
Grew up in Baton Rouge. That is the heart of SEC. I mean, deep-rooted college football. For the football audience out there here in the Bay Area that just don't know, just explain to us just how much religion football is in that part of the country.
Oh, it's massive. It's a every weekend event. You know, starting from high school ball, we got some of the best high school football down in Louisiana, and then Saturdays is really the Sabbath down there.
And now, boy, that LSU football. It is trending.
It is. Yeah, it is. And that's a credit to those guys. The work they put in every day. you know, I miss him like crazy, and I'm so happy to see him doing so well.
Well, as they say, go Tiger, correct?
Absolutely, go Tigers.
Go Tigers!
We talked briefly after the last Raider win, and that touchdown play to you where you were just so wide open, was it one of these kind of things where you came out of the huddle going, man, wait till they see this, man. They will not know what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, we've run the play before. It's been wide open before. And, you know, I got to give it up to Coach Gruden, Coach Ole, and especially Frank Smith. You know, the technique, the focus, you know, the details that go in on that play, they were phenomenal.
We'll get out of here with this one because I know it's so hard to win at this level. But give me a sense of your expectation of this Jet game, and what would it mean to come out there with a 7-4 record?
That'd be incredible. You know, we live most of our time. We live in the microscope. You know, of what's going on right in front of us. 98% of our day is the task at hand, but about 2% of our day we like to see where we're headed in the telescope. And you know, where we're headed could be really cool. And we just got to go 1-0 this week, and that's the goal.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up with that. Foster Moreau joining us for a few minutes, and I've always wanted to say this as we say goodbye. Knock on wood if you're with me.
Oh, man,
I know
absolutely.
wood, so I'm just knocking my head.
I love it.
Let's pound the ball right up there. Knock on wood if you're with me, man.
The most impressive one was the microscope and the telescope comment.
That's LSU education gets you apparently. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the rookies have been pretty amazing for the Raiders. Josh Jacobs has over 1,000 yards on the year rushing, and Max Crosby coming off that 4-sack game against the Bengals. What do you make of the defense and how he has elevated that defense for the Raiders?
Well, I mean, it's a surprise because everybody thought it was going to be Cleveland Farrell, like that's going to be the guy that takes it over. And Max Crosby, a 4th-round guy, sneaky, right? 6.5 sacks, wonderful. Okay, but that was a defense that needed an upgrade all throughout at every level. And you were a little wondering, well, okay, they're bringing in Antonio Brown, you get your running back out of Alabama, then maybe the defense, but it's perfect. Right, because this guy can take advantage when nobody's expecting him to come through. Has a big multi-sack game here. He's loving it, right? This is a guy he's in the moment. They need that energy on defense and guys making plays, and that's going to carry them through. I mean, they got a tough road to go still, but I like it. And then just Josh Jacobs. I mean, this is phenomenal for a rookie running back to do that well. And Gruden's offense, terrific.
Yeah, beast number 2, right? No Marshawn Lynch, but he's definitely carrying that.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the playoffs. Could this be the year that we see, looks like the 49ers are going to go there? Can you see the Raiders also going there?
You know what's funny was we were sitting here about a month ago before the Raiders kind of went on their hot streak. They won last 3. And I said, you know what? Don't be surprised. You know, the Raiders are going to have all these home games. They may win. They may get on a roll. And then everybody's like, well, maybe the last regular season game at the Coliseum is not going to be the last game at the Coliseum. It's possible, but it's going to be really hard, okay? Because first of all, this is a very tough game to win tomorrow, okay? Just going East Coast game, 10 a.m. start. I know the Jets are not very good. They're terrible. But they could win because they just have a good run defense. Then they go to Arrowhead, which is notoriously, obviously, a very tough place to play. Patrick Mahomes is going to want to keep the Chiefs in it. Right. You know, they're not on that list, which is stunning, right? Here's your reigning MVP who got hurt, still going. But then they come home and they play Jacksonville. Well, they go Tennessee and Jacksonville. And those games are winnable. The Niners, 2017, I'm going to invade Niner and Raider territory, crossing the world. The Niners won against Tennessee and Jacksonville. Jimmy Garoppolo, during that 5-0 December run, those were the home teams he beat here at Levi's Stadium. And Jacksonville notoriously is horrible when they come to the Bay Area. So they need to get those wins because then they go into the Chargers and they go into the Broncos, and you never know how they do on the road in those late season games.
Everyone is valuable throughout the season when you're trying to get into the playoffs, but we'll be right back after this to wrap it all up.